Hi there. You okay?
Yeah, you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just taking pictures.
Oh, not a problem then.
Thanks for asking.
No worries. You have a good day.
Yeah, yeah. I think so.
Doesn't hurt to stop. Just check on the person, make sure they're alright. Alright, so order of works completed is to the sum of one clutch cable, one clutch, obviously, dick, and one oil change, including filter. I'm going to be watching my oil warning light like a hawk for the next few days and for the next few rides, just in case, because not that I doubt myself, I do, but it's better to be cautious than stupid, in my opinion. Yes, the oil needed a top up. The manual is normally correct. If it says fill it, fill it. When I checked on it a little while later, it was sitting at the lowest mark, so I put another half in. I have since run it, let it cool, run it again, and once I've topped it up again, that is, and it's now sitting at normal. Are you shitting me? So all is well. Obviously, with it being a brand new clutch, brand new springs, there was a lot of tension. So that's why I did the cable as well, because if you don't do it all in one go, you tend to get problems. You know, if I'd done just the clutch and not the cable, it's likely that a few weeks in the cable would have snapped. I had a spare anyway, so I thought, why not? Makes sense, do it all in one go. It wasn't grotty, but it was, you could see that it was worn. And I've still got my throttle cables. Does it feel good to be back on two wheels again? Yes, it fucking does. I did ride this the other day to warm it up, and the footage is blatantly useless because my microphone had slipped, and with the foam all ripped to shit, it's not doing much in the way of wind protection. I'm sorry if there's a lot of wind noise on this one. You're probably saying, damn, these foam covers are like £1 or £1 if you're from overseas. Why haven't you just bought another one? Well, I'll tell you for why, because I'm fucking skint. Doing a clutch and oil change has actually cost me quite dearly, because getting hold of a complete clutch has been the absolute nightmare with COVID-19. But I got there in the end. The job itself, yeah, it wasn't too bad. Like I say, made all the more tedious by the fact that it looked like the gasket had been glued in places. Because there's like a, you know, that horrible residue you get from glue when you've used it on something that's compressed and it comes out the sides. There was a load of that, like round certain parts of the engine. So I don't know if maybe the previous owner had put glue on it just to hold it in place or some shit, but horrible stuff, whatever it was, and it just made the job a lot more difficult. And the crash bars, oh my god, they just don't fit. How to explain it? Basically, the crash bar that fits directly under the seat does not match up with the mounts, so it has to be forced into place. And unfortunately, because it's a bar to extension to the actual receiver, is it clear? I think it's clear. Because of how it has to be set so that you can get it in, well, so you can attach it, it means it can't be pulled out unless you disconnect all the connecting points, which I can't. Thank you. Yeah, I can't take off the lower one. because obviously the bolt won't undo and the other one is sheared. I got one of them out and I haven't even been able to put it back in because I damaged the other bolt and mount moving it out of the way. Don't get me wrong, it's sturdy as fuck, it's not going anywhere, but at the same time, not exactly impressed with it. As I say, hopefully my uncle will have a spare set of crash bars in chrome that fit better as well, because it's a fucking nightmare doing them. I mean, when you consider it's just, hang on, 2 rods and a load of little Allen key things. That's it. That's all it attaches by. But fuck if they ain't annoying as shit to get them to fit right. They still don't fit right. Brum brum. The oil has already changed colour on account of the fact that engine's dirty. Would I say the performance is any different? Well, a little. Clutch is obviously better. She seems to pull cleanly, there's no stuttering, so that's a good start. Like I say, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the oil. But for a change, actually impressed with my own handiwork. And it really does make a fucking change. See, now that was nice. That pulled really well, really consistent. Didn't feel it stuttering, shaking. That was nice. That's how I expect the 500 twin to behave. Cleanly. I mean, from what I know of the little twin 500s, they're bulletproof. Bulletproof little engines. You know, they are built to just keep going and going and going. I mean, they are water cooled and air cooled, but generally, I don't mind the fact that this is a bit of a staggered run, bit of traffic here and there. It's good to test the clutch to its maximum, if you know what I mean. Plus, I got to go shopping in a bit, so I'm not very impressed with that. Guys, on a questionable basis, have I missed being on YouTube? Yes, I have. There have been many days where I've thought I should be making videos, I should be doing something other than sitting on my ass. But, alas, when you've got a blown clutch and you don't know whether it's going to be able to be usable anytime. Like the day I did day one, when I first warmed this up to drop the oil, I took it for a ride. I did this exact route. And I did this route for a specific reason. One, it gets the bike up to 40 to 50 mile an hour depending on traffic. And it gets the engine nice and moved. It's not just sat on a driveway idling. What was I going to say? But yeah, when I tried to leave to go do that run, it took 2 attempts to get the bike to release the gears. The clutch would not release properly. And the springs were very, very worn. Not physically, but like they didn't have much spring left in them, if you know what I mean. Like I could squish them with my fingers, and the new ones are very, very tight. Very like, you can't squeeze them. I'm not very good with my words today. Fortunately, I don't have a thick head. I should have, but I don't. Hat-trick basically said, look, you need to unwind, have a few beers sort of thing. And I thought, well, I don't really do beers, and I haven't got beers in, and I'd have to go to the shop to get beers, so fuck that. But I do have a bottle of Jägermeister sitting on the counter. So I thought, you know what, through the editing process, because I wasn't going to do it when I was doing the job, I know I'm smart enough to know not to fucking start drinking when I'm actually working on something, because my mentality is to say fuck it and walk away. So I popped the bottle next to me as I started the edit, and by the end of it I had to have a little lie down. Like, that video would have been up about an hour and a half earlier if I hadn't had to have a lie down. And I tried to do a little bit of a video shout out, and it ended up just taking a really fucked photo. Now, I thought that was the funniest fucking thing I'd ever done. So I just said, oh fuck it, put it in the video. Oh, what a mess. I mean, I haven't had a drink in a year and a half. I think the last time I had a drink was at my granddad's funeral in March. Like, not this year, last year. So, yeah, a year and 3 months, something like that. I haven't had a drink. And then I'm necking it neat from the fucking bottle. Like, I normally do that regardless, because you start with Jaeger bombs, and then ever so gradually, the Red Bull becomes less, and the Jaeger becomes more. And it gets to the point where I get so lazy that I just discard the Red Bulls. Which is very cost effective considering, you know, however much these days for a few cans. Fuck that noise. But I start to discard the Red Bull and just go straight for the Jaeger, and then I wake up a few days later. It's fucked. Fortunately, I don't get many chances to do that, so I don't have a problem. I just get really messed up sometimes. I'm sensing a final destination moment with these barriers. I'm just going to go a little bit back from the back of this van, give them a little bit more space. I want to stay where he can fucking see me. Which way should I go now? Should I go back the way I came, or should I find an alternative? Okay. Oh, he's pulling over. Whee! Going around. Not into the back of a van now. There we go. Oh god. That was a black 93 Polo. Nice. In the hot hatch like I used to have. Oh. To put it lightly, it's not fucking cold today. Engine seems quite happy. My nuts. I just smashed my nuts. Oh fucking Jesus. Alright, that hurt a little bit. So there's a point along here somewhere where I basically racked my nuts yesterday. I think it was that, to be honest. But yeah, 2 goes to get my bike to actually disengage the clutch so I could actually use it, because it was just stuck, and if you tried to put it into first, she'd buck like a mule, stall. You could get her back to neutral, try and go to first again, buck like a mule, stalled. And that shit fucking hurts sometimes, you know, like if it hits you, the pegs hit you in the leg, or you know, just racking your nuts on the tank when she jerks forwards. I mean, I'm holding down the front brake while I'm doing it, but fuck if it isn't still a rough one. Ooh. I was actually asked by, fuck, I'm going to do the poor chap a terrible dishonour now. I think it was Epic Adam. Name will be in the top. He asked me what it was like going from a Ninja to a 500, because obviously he's just done a review for a friend of his of her 500. Same bike, basically. I think there's a year's difference, or maybe 2, if that. Maybe not. Who cares? And I said about me going from a Ninja to this because of the reliability issues with the Ninja. So we were talking about that. And it leads into why I bought it. You know, it's you know, reliability issues with the Ninja really did start taking their toll on me. I started feeling like I couldn't ride it anywhere just in case the fucking thing wouldn't start again, which is how I felt about the clutch with this, but obviously that's now repaired. But with the Ninja it was very different. The Ninja would run a lot of the time and then just not sometimes, which really did fucking start to get to me a bit. And his question was, why have you gone down? Now, I'm not trying to say that he was having a pop, like, oh, why have you downgraded it, you fag? It wasn't anything like that. But I get it. I get why people think that sometimes. They're like, why did you go down? Why didn't you just look for a cheap 900 or something? Or why didn't you look at another 6? And the answer is funds. Funds and availability, should I say. I had neither. There was no bikes particularly in my area that I liked that were above 600 or 600 exact, and the only bike I knew of in the area that I could afford, that I was willing to partake of, was this one. You know, it's a brand I recognise, it's a brand I've dealt with before, and after owning the 600 and having a ruined spine at the hands of it, I was looking forward to something a bit more utilitarian and... hang on. As I was saying, I was looking forward to something a bit more utilitarian, a bit more sit-up, a bit more, you know, theoretically a little bit more easy to maintain. And when you look at the insurance group difference for this, for the Ninja, there's only 100cc and 2 cylinders in it. The horsepower is massively different. But I've saved an absolute ton on insurance just by doing this. Even with comparing insurance companies with the Ninja, I've saved nearly £400. As I've always said, I do miss the power of the Ninja. That will never go away. That smooth inline 4, bap, and you just twist the wrist and you're gone. And it was so confidence inspiring, that bike, because you could just lean it into a corner and it would carry you through. If you treated that bike with the respect it deserved with regards to how quickly it could fuck you up, that bike would carry you anywhere. I mean, I went through a couple of bouts of snow, a load of ice, flood water. That bike was extremely mistreated, but it was still a very good bike. And I have to say I miss it, and that's another issue, is I loved that bike. That bike was the one I'd always wanted. That bike was the one I got when I first passed my test. So I always begrudge bad things happening to it, whereas I've got to be completely honest, this ER500 is just a bike. I love it in a different way. It's still a motorbike, but meh, if someone offered me a different one, I'd probably take it. But this bike is utilitarian, you know, it's all very simple, it's very easy and cheap. The sitting up posture gives me a better chance of having a spine. I could see me going camping on this bike. I know you can go camping on a ZX6R. I'd started prepping to do so. I was going to remove the rear seat, put a a wood board there to fit a backpack to with bungee straps and other. But ultimately I didn't do that because, again, I felt bad. I didn't want to mutilate the bike, whereas I don't give a fuck about this one. What I'd probably do is use the bars that are fitted for the top box to fit some side panniers, and then also use the top box and just strap my rucksack to the top box, and away I go. I've got a little go anywhere bike. But when you see like people touring the world and things, you see them doing it on like Triumph Tigers and things, but I'm too short for them. Now yes, I could probably get one and you know, tilt myself off the bike and everything, but I don't want the hazard and risk and the constant knowing in my mind, you know, like I might fall off next time, I might fall off next time. I fucking hate that. I used to do that with the Ninja. Coming to a stop on uneven ground was a real fucking touching cloth moment for me, because I got little legs. What can I say? Big dick little legs. That's all I got. So this bike ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's cheap, it's easy to maintain. Even I can do it, as it turns out. and it serves its purpose. It is a little commuter. Now, I do have to run it a lot more because obviously a lot of the problems have developed because of lack of running it. But that's an ongoing. Alright, what time are we on? I don't know because I haven't got a clock on this thing. Lol, that's one thing the Ninja had, this doesn't. A fucking clock of all things. Who would have thought you'd miss a bastard clock? All in all, no oil warning light. No temperature warnings. Sensor stand's a bit of a dick, but that's for looking at later.